Savings goals keeping you up at night? Let a Regions banker help you build a Regions Green Print plan, a free financial roadmap personalized for what matters to you. Start building your financial confidence. Visit Regions.com to find a branch near you. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Gas South Convention Center in Duluth, Georgia, it's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is presented by Regions Bank, Brave the Beginning, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
And greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to another hopefully award-winning edition of Gwinnett Business Radio here on Business RadioX, broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studios inside the beautiful Gas South District Convention Center, brought on the air by the sultry tones of Dan. And sitting
and
to
Amanda, we had a new Regions commercial.
No, I don't think that was Amanda on the Regions commercial. It wasn't. You thought it was.
It was her twin, her evil twin.
They
or
should
good
use
twin?
Amanda, but who they had was great.
Okay.
It was good. But that is the interjecting wisdom of my co-host, Harper LaBelle.
Yeah, you hadn't introduced me yet, so I should have kept my mouth shut.
Well,
right?
that's okay. No. You interjected wisdom, and that was nice. I like it.
Occasionally, I'll get a single.
Listen, as my grandmother told me, Stephen, a broken clock is right twice a day.
It sure is.
So,
and I could be wrong more than twice a day, and I've been known to do that.
I have a feeling Jerry or other people from your life probably had some good zingers too. Some nice words of wisdom.
If you want to call them words of wisdom or words of let's get going.
Speaking of that, let us get going because people don't listen to this show to listen to us. Although our banter is good for about 45 seconds. But then
they love listening to you. Maybe they don't love listening to Mike quite as much, but they do love getting a great deal at Subaru of Gwinnett. And you can enjoy the big savings and the hassle-free experience at Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com and join their family today. You can come on in and see the difference. They're located at 2950 Satellite Boulevard in Duluth. They're just 2 blocks north of the mall there. But if you're already a Subaruist, then you can check out their Facebook page for the latest news, offers, and community events. Subaru of Gwinnett.
The other thing people love are the guests that we have, and man, do we have a great one today. Nick Monzer is here from PrintPro Graphics right in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Nick, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as your guest, and congrats on your new facility. It's beautiful.
It is fantastic. We're lucky to be here.
He didn't even need to be paid
to
say that.
See,
that was a great ad.
He is a pro.
The difference.
He is a pro, and he knows how to do marketing, and he knows how to make people look good. So PrintPro Graphics, tell us, obviously.
How can you make Steven look good?
Well, that's impossible. But tell how you can make local businesses look good.
Nice beard, and I love your hair. I love
what's left of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Nick, the co-owner of PrintPro Graphics. We refer to ourselves as experts in the design and large format printing business. What we do is we help businesses communicate their brand messaging through creative vehicle wraps, storefront graphics, wall graphics, and much more.
Okay, so it's a lot of the big stuff.
Correct.
So let me ask, because everybody's seen a vehicle wrap, I think, and everybody's seen somebody try to do something on a wall. Before you talk about what you guys do great, let me ask you the question of what is one of the biggest mistakes people make? Is it not using the right person who will screw up the job? Is it, when it comes to doing a vehicle wrap, let's focus on that for a second. What are the biggest mistakes people make? What are the things they're not taking advantage of that PrintPro Graphics would help them do?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked this question. So there are 3 parts to this process, right? And you need to nail every part of this process. First, we'll start with the design. So what we see on the road sometimes, cluttered vehicles, too much text, very vibrant or strong colors. So this is very important to take into consideration. When we start designing a vehicle graphics or vehicle wraps, we focus a lot on the brand guidelines and brand identity, and we try to maintain that brand identity. Now, if the customer doesn't have a brand identity or brand guidelines, we try to put something in place. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the first thing. And we study their target audience and the geographic location. Based on that, we come up with the design. So that's very important. Make sure that we have something relevant, something that the audience can relate to, right? And it's going to stick. When you see a vehicle wrap on the road, okay, this is a nice design. I would like to do business with this company. This is as far as design. So once we finish with the design, we go to pre-production. Not much happening there. Just make sure I have everything good to go for printing. And then we go to the printing phase of it, right? So there are so many different printers in the market. As far as PrintPro Graphics, we use the Mimaki printers. They're one of the leaders in large format printers manufacturing. It's a Japanese company that, fortunate enough, they have their headquarters here in Swanee. So we have that huge support of techs and specialists to support us. So once we finish with the production printing, we go to the installation part. And let me go back to the production. Using the right material is very important. Many shops tend to use a cheaper material that's not gonna last you for a long time. After 2 years, you have the customer calling you, my wrap is lifting. If you're paying $4,000 for a vehicle wrap, you want that wrap to last for at least 3 to 5 years. And that's where we offer warranty on our vehicle wraps, because we know we use only exclusively 3M material.
So what, Harper, one of the things I'm hearing there is I think when it comes to specifically vehicle wraps, sometimes people will just get it done, or I'll just reproduce what I've got somewhere else. But thinking through the design of how you want it to look on the car, the colors you want to use, and then clearly the quality of material probably makes.
Yeah, Nick, I would say you're beginning with, let's say, business cards or something as simple as that. You do that, obviously, but then taking in the technology and the different aspects of it. If I had the consideration of, well, I'm not sure whether or not I want to do a wrap for my car. Are there options where I say, well, maybe I just do a door, or I can do something to where I used to see many years ago, I'd see the metallic, what would you call those? The little labels. They're
like a magnet on the side.
I said metallic, but you're right. The magnets for
door magnets.
Yeah, a real estate agent or something like that. Hey, call me for your home.
Right.
Technology has changed now. So tell us what your expertise has learned over the past couple of years, where the trends are now for new businesses.
So for the most impact, definitely we encourage going with full vehicle wrap, right? But then also we have the option to do partial wraps or decals. These are still also very effective. You know, also yet when it comes to the cost, you're talking about half the cost or even less than that. So these are very effective. With the technologies available, with all the plotters that can cut to very small pieces, very detailed pieces, you can have just your logo, your phone number, and that would do it. And even that would look better than magnets. No, we don't do magnets. It's not something that we do, but we do decals, simple decals, partial wraps, and full wraps.
So let me transition from vehicle, because you started by saying you also do stuff on buildings. Right. So talk a little bit about what's and kind of Harper's same question. Let me just now transition it. So when it comes to doing graphics on buildings, are we talking just about stuff that hangs in windows? Is it stuff you can do on walls? Talk. I mean, without going into a 10-minute sermon, can you cover in 60 seconds kind of what, when it comes to somebody, hey, what are we doing for the graphics at our storefront? Talk about what you can do.
So storefront graphics fall under large format printing, right? Wall graphics fall under also large format printing. This is something we can do, right? So you open a ice cream shop, you want to have a nice visual on your storefront. This is something we can design, print, and install. Same thing, you have a new studio here, you want to have some nice visual as a backdrop. This is something we can design, print, and install. We don't do branding on like, let's say, on banners on outdoor buildings or something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah. So this is because we're talking about wraps, and you said, hey, I don't do the magnetic signs. And by the way, I don't think anybody's doing that on their cars anymore, which was Harper's point.
Well, I want to now. Seeing as how it's so late in the ball game.
Now it's time.
I want a magnet.
That, and you want to get your Rolodex all up to date, right? Those are the two. Anyway,
we can get you a souvenir magnet, maybe.
Like that. So we're talking about kind of wall graphics and window graphics. So I was going to ask, and you said no to the, you're not necessarily a large banner printer. And I would also assume you're not necessarily a sign guy, right? So so you're more all about the graphics, but let me kind of let you kind of hammer the point home. Talk about design when it comes to graphics on walls. Kind of the same thing we were talking about the vehicle.
Right.
It's not just, oh, tell us what you want and we'll do it.
right.
You guys are really going to help with the marketing behind the design, right?
Let me go back a little
Yeah.
bit just to the banners point. We do outdoor banners. In fact, we did recently something for the American Cancer Society. They had a Gwinnett Relay for Life at the Sewanee Town Center. So we do to a certain extent.
Okay.
Now, as far as the design, when it comes to wall graphics and storefront graphics, it's the same concept, right? We go back, we understand your brand, we want to understand what you want to communicate, what's the purpose of this backdrop or wall graphics they want to have, or storefront graphics. Based on that, we come up with the design, right? And also the material can be different. You want privacy, so there's something which we call perforated material. That provides privacy. You can't see from the outside in, but you can see from the inside out, right? So there are certain different materials to choose from, and based on what you want, what you're looking for, we decide where to go.
Hey, Nick, do you have an arrow that points either to the left or the right when I want to have a garage sale? Is that beyond? Is that outside of your capability with a big arrow going, hey, the garage sale is with a blinking light?
Yeah, I have someone that can help you with that. Yeah, they'll take
good.
care of you.
Now, you said mentioning going back. Now, let's go back with you. Your accent gives you away. You're Lebanese.
Yes.
Okay, when did you develop the passion that you have? And when did you say, Lawrenceville, Georgia, that's where I want to start my business?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm going to share a short story here and how we started PrintPro Graphics.
We only like long stories, Nick. Stephen and
No,
I
no,
are really
keep it
good
short.
at
It's okay.
never mind.
Because as I said, I'm the co-owner, and the other owner is my brother, who wanted to be here on the show, but we had a prior commitment. He's in Athens now. He's in a meeting. So, as I said, I'm going to share a story. Growing up, I have my brother, who's a year older than me, right? So this was the inspiration behind our business. So he's a year older than me. We grew up like twins, right? So we played with the same toys. We went to the same school. We had very mutual friends. And we even went to the same schools. And after we graduated, we moved to Dubai. So we both lived there and worked there in the same industry, which is the marketing and advertising industry. He was on the design part of things, and I was more on the production side of things, right? And at some point in life, we went in different directions. We lived in different places, and we started doing different things. And then we got reunited here in the States. And this is where I knew that we had to join forces and go into business together. It's been always our dream to create something, right? And considering our backgrounds, we knew that it had to be something related to marketing and advertising. But we didn't know exactly what. Until I came with the idea of starting a large format printing business where he can focus on the design part of it, and then I can focus on the production, while we both do business development and marketing. And this is how PrintPro Graphics was born. And we strive to be the most trusted large format printing business in Gwinnett.
We are speaking with Nick Monzer. He is with he and his brother own PrintPro Graphics. I know one of the questions we usually ask is, hey, kind of what sets you apart from the competition? Clearly, you are not just an order taker. And I think at times the graphic and printing type business is just, to Harper's question of, oh, I just need a big giant arrow, you know, and there's a place for that, but the you know, kind of the design part of it is what helps. I wonder if you have another story where you were able to kind of help a business owner who had maybe an idea or maybe had no idea, and you helped kind of create something that almost is a work of art, but is a work of art in how it helped their marketing effort.
Correct. And that's what I love about this business. We're just like, we're not a sign shop that it's going to print a sign yard and that's it. No, we are part of we're an extension of the customer's marketing plan, right? So, and vehicle wraps are very, very effective. In fact, if we look at the statistics, a wrapped vehicle generates 30,000 to 70,000 impressions on daily basis. So what sets us apart? And I'm going to come back on a story how we help the customer. What sets us apart from the competition? One, creativity. We're not afraid to come up with unique and out-of-the-box designs. Two, communication. We respond to all inquiries within 60 minutes. Three, quality. We back most of our graphics with up to 5 years warranty because we know what we use and we know how we use it. Back to your story. Recently, we had a customer that came to us. They've been in business for over 45 years. They are in the audio-visual business, and they do custom furniture for schools. they have a fleet of vehicles. They are located in Lawrenceville. They have a fleet of vehicles. They've never had anything, any wraps or any visuals on their vehicles. They came to us and said, hey, we would like to have our vehicles wrapped. Can you help us with that? This is what we do. We got together with the marketing team, with the designers and everything. We had a meeting with the customer. We understand their needs, what they do, how long they've been in the market, their target audience, the geographic locations they serve. And based on that, we came with a very effective visuals for their fleet. And if you go on our website or social media channels, you can see it's called Nice Swinger Audiovisual. They're one of the leading audiovisual providers here in Georgia. So the customer was very pleased with what we created design-wise and finish-wise. The quality was amazing. And in fact, we get calls from customers, and that's what very rewarding for us when we get calls from customers and they say, hey, we noticed an uptick with our phone calls. And this is what we're looking for, right? So some brands are looking for brand awareness and exposure only, and some brands, they want more leads. They want more phone calls, more emails.
Absolutely. How do I grow my business? Now, a QR code, for example.
Yes.
A lot of young people, we're too old, Stephen and I. We're too old.
What was it again?
This code thing,
Okay.
it's got a lot of dots.
Yes.
Dot, dash. That's Morse code
QR
for me.
code.
Yeah.
Right. But if the average person is going, I didn't even think about that. That's part of your job is I got to strategize with you. And I'm going to come up with 3 things that you love. You may not like any of them,
right,
but all of them are good ideas that we have. And that we may want to incorporate all 3 of them. You got to think outside the box. You mentioned that.
Correct.
So that's one of the challenges I would imagine is your ability to be able to calmly but confidently go, this is what's worked for other people that are very similar to what you're doing. And you get to do that with every customer that comes in with you, correct?
Correct. And this is something we use. But again, some brands are big enough that they don't want to have their contact details on their vehicles, on their fleet. They just want to have their logo and color because they're well known.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not looking for phone calls. They're not looking for more emails. And then you have customers where they're on that growing stage and they want to get more business and they want call to action. And the QR code is a great example. And this is something we employ in our designs.
Yeah, sometimes it's not just the phone number. It may be an email address or a website or something else that would say, hey, here's how you can get a hold of me if you're on the road and just driving by and happen to see somebody. I did that with a shower. We had our shower door wasn't breaking, but it was close. And I see a guy, and I called him, and he came by. So
Yes.
Interesting way of helping people get their dynamic taken care of from a marketing perspective.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Now, Nick, I am sure, I am in fact positive that both you and your brother on your primary vehicles that you drive have wonderful graphics displaying about PrintPro Graphics, but we're on a podcast. We're broadcasting live. So we can't see that car. So instead, what I'm going to ask you to do is to tell all of our listeners, if they want to work with the best, if they want to get design and vehicle wrap and custom wall graphics and all the other things you do, how do they get in touch with you? Where are you located? Give us all the contact information.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are located on 1000 Hurricane Shoals in Lawrenceville, right across from the Gwinnett Airport. You can email us at hello@printprographics.com. or you can visit our website at www.printprographics.com. Also, you can check out our social media, PrintPro Graphics on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
So Nick Monzer from PrintPro Graphics. When you type it in, don't forget the S, because they'll do more than one graphic for you.
Yes.
Nick Monzer from PrintPro Graphics, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Before we get to our next guest, I do want to remind everybody that Gwinnett Business Radio is brought to you by Regions Bank. We all know keeping your company's financial future on track means having the right resources to support your growth. Regions Commercial Banking offers you lending capabilities and strategic solutions. Wow, tailored to your needs. And you'll work with a team of experienced bankers here in Gwinnett. Discover steps to take that can help move you closer to your business goals. Regions is here to help. To learn more, visit regions.com/commercial-banking. Don't forget the dash. Regions Bank.
Member
FDIC. Wow, I got really excited about Regions Bank.
Yeah, you read a lot there.
Yeah. Well, it's a 30-second spot, and I think I took 45 seconds.
You
So
probably took 47.
hopefully Regions won't charge me an overage on that because Regions is here to help, right?
They're working on their fee schedule.
Well, two other people.
We want to keep the fees down.
Two other people that are here to help. We have two guests here, Dr. Chase Dean from Total Joint Specialists, and also Allison Clark, who is Director of Marketing. She is here in support of Dr. Dean, and she may jump in. So we'll see if Allison has anything to say. But I guess the first thing you guys can say is say hello. As I say, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Great to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Dr. Dean, you, I guess the thing, you're an orthopedic surgeon.
Yep.
So I guess tell us about exactly what total joint specialist is and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a orthopedic surgeon that specializes in hip and knee replacement. So I treat arthritis, all kinds of arthritis. Our group, Total Joint Specialists, as the name implies, is a group of orthopedic surgeons. We all just do hip and knees. It's one thing that sets us apart. We do hip and knee replacement and arthritis and really specialize that. And we've got locations all across the Atlanta, greater Atlanta area. But we treat all sorts of arthritis, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about that. And Allison helps us kind of promote the fact that we're a growing business and we got locations all over.
Yeah, we are definitely going to get into what you do, but I think the very first question I kind of need to ask is, Allison, as Director of Marketing of Total Joint Specialists and Arthritis and Hip and Knee, I mean, because my first thought is, hey, do you say "ow" at any point in the day when you've got your knee or hip or elbow? Then you need to call us. So, Director of Marketing, how do you market an orthopedic surgeon and a total joint specialist? Talk a little bit about the marketing efforts.
Absolutely. So thank you. That's a great question. So, Total Joint Specialist is a great orthopedic group to work for. And what I have really become to know is it's a journey. These orthopedic surgeons truly look at each and every patient as a journey that they're going to walk side by side with them on. And networking, knowledge is powerful, and just educating our community out there on what is available for your hips and knees is so powerful.
See, Harper, that's why I'm not the Director of Marketing, because I was trying to be silly and it turned out to be stupid, and I did a dumb joke about ow and my knee hurts, and she did a great job of just rescuing this interview.
Well, ow is a real thing, okay? People have a lot of ows, and we see that all the time.
If you go when you're getting up, you might need to,
there you go.
Need to talk to Dr.
Stephen,
Dean.
you got to admit, Allison is a Director of Marketing. If she's going to walk with you, if she's going to walk with you, if you have hip or pain,
there you
knee
go.
pain, who else would?
You're going to walk strong.
I'm going to get your number after this, so don't worry. I'm going to sign you up, same day appointment.
Dr. Dean.
Chase, you're too young to be a doctor that has been around. Look at you. You're just getting started.
The joy of the medium of
and you don't know anything about arthritis and knee pain because you're just a young whippersnapper. All these older folks, these gray hairs that are going through some pain and have some issues, and they're not quite sure whether or not this is the right thing for them. How do you visit with that individual and get them to start talking about, look, you've got bone on bone, you've got degeneration. There's 1,000 different examples, but what is it that you specialize in? Said this is what I want to do.
A lot wrapped into that question. A lot of ways I could go.
You have 60 seconds.
Perfect.
Go. I'm just.
So it's different decision for everyone. It's based on everyone's desires, what they want to, what kind of function they want to maintain, what activities this is affecting. Is your knee so bad you can't walk anymore, and now you're in, you've gone to a walker and you're coming to my office on a wheelchair? Well, that's an easier conversation, right? Like your quality of life is clearly deteriorating. Like it's time to start seriously thinking about how we can fix this before it gets worse. Other people that have been living with this for a few months, right, and maybe just starting to bother them, well, it's a completely different situation. So it is very patient to patient based. And it has a lot to do with how much it's affecting your quality of life. And there's different options, right? Not everyone needs a total joint replacement right away. A lot of people benefit from it. And if you come in to see me with arthritis, there's a good chance eventually you may get a total joint replacement. But we don't always jump to that, right? We do injections in the office. We send a lot of people to physical therapy. We focus on weight loss, which no one wants to talk about or hear about, but that helps too. So it's different for everyone. It's how much it's affecting you. And I try and set appropriate expectations, right? I can't make your joint as good as it was when you were, 15, right? But I can, if it's bone on bone and I'm seeing and feeling and hearing what you're telling me that this is really killing you, I can make it better. So it's setting appropriate expectations. It's trying to lay out the path that of what to expect and a reality of getting you back and keeping doing what you want to do. Because our goal is to keep people active, right? I want you, if you're coming in, you can't play pickleball anymore. Like my goal is to get you back to what you want to do, right? If you love running, well, that might be hard to get you there, but we're going to try.
Yeah. So what what's someone's experience? I think that's one of the things that at times kind of gets lost when people are consuming healthcare, when people are going to see doctors. Is there something that kind of sets total joint specialists apart from other doctors' offices of what they're going to experience as they walk in, and maybe that initial consultation or the series of consultations that they're going to go through? How might it be different from other experiences they've had with healthcare?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we have is very unique. Most groups, most orthopedic surgeon groups in particular, are made up of surgeons that do all sorts of things, right? And even a lot of the guys that do total joint replacements still do knee scopes and shoulder stuff. And our group does nothing but hip and knee arthritis. So we are truly specialized and hyper focused in what we do. And I think that makes us better at what we do, right? So when someone else asks me, even a family member or friend or someone else in the office asks me, I have a back issue or I have a shoulder issue, who should I go see? My main point that I try to get across, no matter who I recommend, is you should go see someone that does that a lot, because the literature, the data will show that the best outcomes are with people that do this over and over and over again, right? And so that is really what sets our office apart, is that everyone in our group does nothing but hip and knee replacement. And so when you come into our office with hip or knee pain, it's not going to be the first time that I've seen it, that the medical assistant's seen it, the PA, everyone there knows all about. They get the program. We have a program. We have a drill. We have protocols to make this efficient and streamlined. Surgery is outpatient. You're going home the same day. We focus on rapid recovery. It's a truly unique patient experience, which really separates us apart. Do
me a favor, and I'm going to try not to put you on the spot here, but for example, Tommy John surgery in 1972 was done on Tommy John. Sandy Koufax in the late 60s would have loved to have had that type of option, but it was considered, you've got arthritis in your arm, and the technology didn't exist.
Yeah.
It took Tommy John to be the first one. With knee and joint and hip replacement, we're well into this now, to where this is not only something that shouldn't be frightening to anybody, but we're getting good. I'm not going to say it's a factory, but when was the first, and how many surgeries have been done to the point where you go, this is par for the course now. We're in a stage right now where you don't have to be afraid as a patient to be able to be a part of the process of at least considering this type of a surgery.
Yeah, so this has been going on. Joint replacement has happened for a lot of years. And you are putting me on the spot a little bit, but if you go back, I believe it was firstly a hip replacement, and it was done for tuberculous infection of a hip. And it was with all kinds of crazy materials. They've tried all the different materials over the years. They even used, I think, ivory back in the day, and forms of wood as replacement. So we've clearly advanced far from that. Yeah. And replacement, even more recently, replacement was reserved for those that were truly crippled and could not walk. And we would talk about, you got to push this off until you're absolutely miserable and suffering. And people still come in and have that mindset, which I feel like I'm trying to kind of correct all the time. You don't need to be suffering and go through this pain and wait till you're 80 years old. People say, I'm too young to have a replacement, right? So with time, we have learned and not perfected, but improved our craft and the materials and the technology that goes along with this, so that we're doing replacements for different reasons, to keep people active instead of keeping them necessarily out of a wheelchair or out of a hospital bed. So we keep people active. We get them back to playing sports. We get them doing what they want to do.
Gardening, just doing things that they want to be able to do as they get a little bit older.
Absolutely.
And I would imagine the part of the message, that's where Allison comes in, is you don't have to give the message every single time. You have someone like her that's able to do that, and then it allows you to just basically start the surgery.
Yeah, she really helps kind of promote, and that's what we want to do. We're just trying to make sure people know we're around and what we do and the service we offer, because I don't want people to be sitting at home thinking, I've been told that I have arthritis, there's nothing I can do about it, I need to just live with this for 20 more years, right? If your knee hurts, if you're making these ouch sounds, come in and see me, at least we can talk about what your options are, right? Sure. There's a lot of options, and again, it's not always surgery, but surgery, we're doing it for younger and younger people, and they're having great outcomes.
Well, and you kind of started, I think one of the first answers you gave was, hey, if you're in a wheelchair or in a hospital bed, okay, that's an easy conversation because you're at the end of the road. So what are some of the things, and again, not to put you in a corner and say every time you feel this or that, but what are some of those earlier moments? And I said, Al, you've used wheelchair, so let's do the spectrum, right? What are some of the things people need to go, well, maybe I need to go talk to Dr. Dean or somebody else at Total Joint Specialist if Not you're using a walker yet, and not just, oh, I had a slight pain. Give us a spectrum. Give us some ideas.
Absolutely. And it is a true spectrum. People come in all different stages, right? But it's typically a gradual onset. It's typically activity related. So you might notice it when you're doing this activity, you're going on a long walk. You might notice it afterwards, like, dang, I'm really paying for it, but it's more than just the soreness. It's pain. You notice that you're starting to take, Tylenol or ibuprofen on a more regular basis, right? To deal with that. And so it's because of this, it's this kind of slow onset. People accept it as, well, I just got to put up with it, right? Because it's not like I got in a car accident and I broke my hip. Now that happens, but it's a different story, right? So typically people having trouble going upstairs, so you're going up one leg at a time, you notice oftentimes it's, well, I just don't walk as much as I used to. I love walking, and I used to walk 1 mile or 2 miles a day, and now it's gotten down to, I can only walk a quarter mile, and then I got to stop because it's just not worth the pain, right? So all sorts of things. I can't ride my bike anymore. Can't play pickleball. I have trouble gardening because bending over or doing squats makes it really hurt. So I've kind of given up these things. And that's what people end up sacrificing. They sacrifice things they like because they think, well, it's part of getting old, right? I've been told that getting old is supposed to come with joint pain. And so I'm just dealing with it.
Allison, I want to bring you in for a question because in your answer, you kind of said, educate people. So apart from telling everybody to come in and set an appointment, what are some of the other things that you've helped total joint specialists or they've asked you, kind of commissioned you to do? What are some of the outreach that total joint specialist is looking to do to get the word out or to increase education? Number one, to get people to come in, but even if they don't come in, just to know some things that maybe they can do before they come in.
Great question. So this setup right here, one of being on this here with you guys is one of the number one ways to get the information out. Yesterday we had the privilege of playing softball at Deaton Creek community in Brazelton, Georgia, and one of the softball players was 94 years old. Is that not amazing? And so, letting everybody get back to their why. And that's one of the things when I'm talking to someone in the community and I can literally see they're limping, I ask them, are you losing your why? And, and if you get personal with them, that will open up a plethora of conversations and to just let them know what are the resources. And really that's what people want to know. What are their resources and do they have someone that they can call? We are definitely, networking with 55 and older communities, other companies out there, just anything that is related to industry leaders with total hips and knees is the route that we want to go to.
How did the 94-year-old do? Did he line?
Did he get a couple hits?
He slid in second base.
Really?
No, I'm totally joking.
Everyone booed when they.
Yeah, they got him out.
He hit and they threw him out because he was going so slow. Everyone would boo at the other team for
By the way,
let him get to first.
Jeff Francoeur made an appearance with the Savannah Bananas here at Coolray, and he tried to leg out a double in his only at bat, and he hurt his hip.
Did you get his number?
No, I didn't. I wasn't able to interview him afterward. But
maybe he's listening now.
Yeah, he should. Call Total Joint Specialist.
Hey, Chase, how did you get involved with medicine, and when did you decide that this is really where I want to focus my career?
Yeah, it was thanks, Harper. For me, it was a gradual interest. My grandfather was an anesthesiologist, and that kind of sparked an early interest. But I had surgeries. I had sports injuries growing up. I had surgeries on both of my knees, as many orthopedic surgeons had. And you'll find that, we all had injuries.
Everybody's got an experience.
To the same, it's similar paths. I also had a long story I won't get into, but also had a motorcycle accident when I was young that was somewhat life-threatening, and that really inspired me to see what a surgeon can do, the positive impact a surgeon can have on someone's life. And I thought, dang, that's pretty amazing, the amount of impact and change someone or a system can have on someone's life, and kind of drew me towards looking to that further. But then, seeing specifically joint replacement with people that I love growing up, that had a huge impact on me. Seeing my mother had both her hips replaced, and seeing her hobble around, not be able to do what she loved, and now she's back to teaching yoga and doing what she loves. I was like, okay, well, this is something that has a meaningful impact that I can see and that I'm passionate about. And so that's kind of how it drew me to.
That's interesting. So mom was hobbling around, and now she's teaching yoga, and you've given, or not you specifically, but the procedure has given her 20, 30 years of life that what's it like for you when you get to see somebody who's just awoken from one of your operations and they say the pain's gone? I mean, that has to be an amazing feeling of it worked. And it worked again for you. I knew it would work, and you didn't believe it, but I'm promising you this is going to be a life changer for you.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. It's hard to put into words, but it is truly.
Tell me about the first one, because the first one for you, the first surgery that went well, and you said it went exactly as it's supposed to go, because that's what you're trained to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's nice that it's such a reliable surgery, you know, and I don't guarantee everyone that you're pain-free, but, you know, it's pretty dang reliable that I can make your pain better, right? So seeing them after surgery, and particularly with, you know, hips, being able to move their hip around early on, that they could never do that. I could just move it in a different way, and they expect pain, right? You'll move their hip in recovery unit a little bit, and they grimace and they flinch out of fear because they know it's hurt, because it's hurt for so many years. Right. And then all of a sudden you can see it change, the look on their face change. Like, wait, that didn't hurt like it did, you know, an hour or two ago. Yeah. Right. This is amazing.
And please forgive me if I can clarify. When you wake up from surgery, there's going to be some stiffness and soreness and all that. So eventually you get to the point where I have full range of motion where I only had 10 or 20% or even less than that. You know, that has to be the great reward.
It is. It's truly incredible, and I'm blessed. And it couldn't be done without a team, obviously. And at Total Joint Specialists, we have such an amazing support team to make it all work and smoothly. Everyone there. And I think that's one of the things we hear again over and over from the patients is that, wow, every interaction I had was really great. You know, my questions got answered. If I had a concern after surgery or problem, the nurses were right there to answer the question. Specifically to think about a patient that you're asking about, I saw a 43-year-old in my office yesterday who came in a wheelchair because she had rheumatoid arthritis and from another country, doesn't speak English, and you know, just didn't get the treatment that she probably should have to prevent this from happening, but couldn't walk. You know, and she came in walking yesterday. I did both of her hip replacements. She's a year out now, and she's working, and she's happy. She says she has no pain, and so that is, you know, that's remarkable to be able to help people like that.
Yeah, the smile that you see from that, it crosses the language barrier, doesn't it? It's working, and you did something fantastic to change her life.
All right, I think the only thing left to do, Dr. Dean, is for you to tell everybody where they can go to see you or someone else on the team from Total Joint.
Allison's here.
Should I have?
We got locations all over the place. Allison can give you all the details. I see patients in Brazelton as well as Cumming. So in Brazelton, we're on 1255 Friendship Road, the Northside building. And then in Cumming, we're at Cumming in Forsyth, right across the street from the hospital. So on that same campus at 2000 Howard Farm Drive.
I like how you stood up for, those are my locations. So Allison, what are the other locations? Wait a minute, we might have stumped her.
No, we have a lot.
Yeah.
No, you haven't. Our other locations
I was going to say, you're going to do like 25 locations, right?
So we do have an upcoming new location in Gwinnett that is soon to be opening in August, fingers crossed, we're hoping. So then we have the Cherokee location. We have the Sandy Springs location that has a wonderful new ambulatory surgery center that two of our providers, Dr. Sam Vajtani and William Godfrey, practice out of. Same philosophy that Dr. Dean was just talking about, same-day surgeries, beautiful building. So you should go down there and check it out.
Okay.
Then we have Crabapple, we have Woodstock, J. Dr. Dean mentioned the Brazelton and Cumming.
You're all over the place.
Man.
Now, is that a website? Or
So obviously wouldn't that be the most simplest place to go to? I mean,
I tried to stump you and you nailed
QR
it.
codes
Good
and,
job.
technology, right?
Yeah.
It is 2024, right? So yes, you can go to our website, totaljointspecialist.com, and check it out. Look, it lists all of our providers, our services. It has some patients, testimonies on there, and really talks about their experience. And that is one thing about it, it's not a procedure that these surgeons do. Right. They're given an experience to each and every patient.
So Ackworth, Alpharetta, Brazelton, Canton, Crabapple, Cumming, Ellijay, Gainesville, Lawrenceville, Midtown, Sandy Springs, Snellville, or Woodstock. If you live anywhere even close to those areas and you have some pain in your joints, hips and knees, there's a place that's nearby that you can get a hold of.
And Allison would never say this as the director of marketing for Total Joint Specialist. By the way, when you do that
But you're
website,
going to say it for
Total
her?
Joint Specialists. No,
Put me on the spot
I
here.
was going to say I'm kind of guessing and thinking that the I don't want to say best, but Dr. Dean was the best interviewer. Right? Would that be fair? That's my thing. He was the best person to come to the interview. That's to the other doctors, I apologize. I haven't met you guys yet, so, and ladies.
I am with
if
him
you do,
today, and that is an accurate
There
statement.
you go. All right, very good, very good. Yeah, again, I'm not putting words in Allison's mouth, but Dr. Dean, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Allison, thank you
Thank
so
you
much
for
for
having
setting this up and getting Dr. Dean here. And I look forward to interviewing other doctors from Total Joint Specialists so that they can tell me how stupid I was to say what I said at the end there. But, that's my job's to be
what you
slightly
do.
annoying, and I think I did good. I stayed
And they
on
will be
brand.
the best that day also.
Yeah, exactly. I
looking
stayed.
for an annoying host. You've
I
got the
stayed
best
on
right here.
brand and being slightly annoying, and that was good. So, all right.
Thank Nick too.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to thank Nick Monzer from PrintPro Graphics for being here to join us, and he did a great job. I want to thank Dan for producing the show and also for being the voice that brought us in. And I also want to thank you, Harper.
What about Mike? You want to thank Mike?
No.
See, it wasn't pain-free for Mike. Mike experienced a lot of pain with us.
He experiences
does
pain every week when we do the
Yeah,
show.
it's
But
ridiculous.
you know what Mike did? He pulled up TotalJointSpecialist.com, handed you the phone, and you got to read
Yeah,
off
I'm
the
told to
locations.
turn my phone off before
Yeah,
we go on the
exactly.
air, but Mike doesn't listen
Mike,
to his own
man,
advice.
he is on it. He is with it, and now he is pacing in the cubicle back there, waiting for us to end the show. Do you think it's time to do that?
Let's do it.
All right. So we want to thank our guests. We want to thank Dan. We want to thank Mike. We want to thank Harper. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you catch all of our shows on your favorite podcasting platform, and we will catch you next time on Gwinnett Business Radio.